Hi, hi, what's really going on? Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, going to be taking a look at Dogecoin against the US dollar and Tether. On the Bittrex chart, going to be assessing some of the key levels here I believe we're going to be interacting with in the near future here. Going to be assessing some of the technical levels and technical aspects of this kind of price action moving forward as we interact with this swing high back in the middle of April before this kind of very significant projection that we do seem to be recovering very nicely from. But will that be enough to kind of break through that kind of last resistance to make some higher highs, or will we come back down to support? Now, to quickly recap this kind of very volatile price action upward, we have these kind of breaks upward followed by 10 days to tens of days of kind of sideways before kind of continuing to break upward again. And so now, more than ever, Dogecoin is more fundamentally bullish than it kind of ever has been. It is a very unique coin, as a lot of its aspects are very much perceived value, and you know, the project is very volatile in nature. And so you really have to be careful when investing into Doge, or well, you had to have been for quite some time of its life, as it did have these volatile spikes just to kind of sell it right off again, and it spent a lot of its existence in like the near worthless kind of territory. It is only now trading in the multi-cent to tens of cent kind of range here, and so which is very unusual for Doge, in my opinion. But is proof that anything can happen in the crypto sphere, and there's more than enough money in the world to make anything happen. And so, in terms of these levels here, I do believe there's kind of a couple things that could unfold moving forward if we get rejected kind of off this level, or if we don't. So I believe, in my opinion, I do believe we can kind of rally upward, and we're going to be interacting with these levels rather soon here in the next kind of couple days to perhaps a week. If we get rejected off of like 44 cents and we print a lower high, I do suspect that to bring us all the way kind of back down to this kind of key zone here above 25 cents, and will kind of trigger us to trade rather sideways for a prolonged period of time, similar to price action back in the end of January to the kind of beginning of April there, before we found support and kind of rallied. So we kind of rallied upward, got rejected. On the Bittrex chart, we printed this higher high, which was kind of like more bullish. But overall, we came back down to this kind of support level, traded sideways for a bit before rallying kind of upward again. And so in this case, if we were to print kind of similar sort of price action, I suspect it would kind of look sort of something like that kind of thing, and then we'd trade sideways. And so that's kind of one thing that can unfold if we get rejected. One aspect is that we just plow right through this resistance again, and 50 cents is nothing, and we instantly kind of see the dollars. I suspect prices to be just as volatile as this pump for the next one. And so I mean, upon breaking this kind of significant resistance, I guess let's say like around there, probably like that pullback, we rallied 500% in a matter of days. And so I suspect perhaps if we were to break this kind of significant resistance around kind of 45 cents, we could easily see another 100% at least to 300% to the multi-dollar kind of Dogecoin. The $1 Dogecoin, in my opinion, is inevitable, and that could be perhaps a very key sell level where many traders take profit, and we do have a prolonged kind of pullback, and we trade kind of sideways. But the overall bullishness of Dogecoin does seem to be kind of never-ending at this point, and people want it, and they're not kind of selling even after insane, multi-100%, multi-thousand%, sometimes kind of gains, and so that which suggests there is plenty kind of more room upward. When we consider EngineeringRobo, we see a new kind of perspective come into play here. We have this, buy for moon coming in all the way back in the beginning of November of 2020. The buy for to sell for kind of swaps here, supported by these super buys coming in for the breakouts upward, and all along the way we had this moon present. And so during these sell for sideways, we could suspect that prices could inevitably break upward with this kind of moon present, giving us the kind of overall bullishness of the uptrend. So now we still have this buy 4 present, super buy 2, buy 3, another super buy over here, supporting this kind of uptrend, although we have this sell 4 present near the top. And so this sell 4 does suggest, if I were to compare it to that kind of similar price action, that we could have the tens of days of sideways kind of thing. And so with the moon still present, we are still overall bullish, but with the sell 4 present, we could be kind of short-term sideways. And so I mean, There's definitely lots going on with Dogecoin at the moment, and there's lots of volatility. We recovered very nicely from this bounce, like the candle that printed the sell for was still a very nice kind of wick off of the 17-cent level there around that Fibonacci zone. And so I do believe these Fibonacci levels, these fettuccine lines, will be key in assessing kind of price action moving forward. If we get rejected off of that kind of 45 cents, I believe a really kind of bullish support level would be above the 0.618 line there, but I suspect we can kind of come down to just below it to around the 0.5 level if we get rejected off of the 45 cents. If we were to just able to plow through it and we were to get like crazy bullish, we'd come back and retest kind of the 0.786 around 35 cents and kind of come back down like here and then like continue like that. Yeah, no, so Dogecoin could very well continue upward at any point in time very aggressively, but I suspect price action to be kind of similar to this. We're gonna have some very tight reaccumulation and consolidation, as there will be some traders taking profit. There will be definitely some gains, some gains being claimed, and it's never a bad thing to take profits. So we consider the price of Dogecoin against the price of Bitcoin. We can see that we have the same insane, crazy, volatile price action, along with support found above the 469 Satoshi kind of level there. This kind of zone does seem to be a key kind of buy zone that has a lot of like buy pressure and is quite bullish when you interact with. We could very well swing kind of into it upon getting rejected from kind of levels around kind of 761 Satoshi. And so that could kind of further suggest our kind of sideways. And so, like I said, I do believe this kind of to be our key kind of support zone moving forward if we were to kind of come down to it. If you consider EngineeringRobo along with the fettuccine lines, we have some kind of different price action here, along with some more bullish suggestions. Prices closing above the 200 daily moving average. We have the super buy 4, and the golden cross in play, along with a moon still back at the beginning of February. And so we are still looking quite bullish against the price of Bitcoin, and this does suggest that we are able to gain against Bitcoin, and we can still stay kind of sideways against it, against Bitcoin's fluctuations. I just suspect this does lead me to suspect that we can kind of stay sideways against kind of Bitcoin's price fluctuations, and this does still look quite long-term bullish, although we are up like hundreds of percentages in a very short amount of time. And so I mean, some from a technical aspect, some sideways does seem to be necessary, but from the fundamental aspect, Dogecoin just wants to go up, and so you never really know with Doge. Rejection off of this 775 kind of Satoshi there, that swing high all the way up there will bring us down to 614 Satoshi for sure, I assume. But the 0.618 should be our kind of local bottom. In my opinion, we have the 0.618 and 0.5 kind of correlating with that kind of Satoshi buy zone, even though prices did come all the way down to that 0.382 level around 306 Satoshi. So, we could definitely trade in a more bearish manner for a prolonged period of time, but I suspect the local bottom to be around the kind of 0.618 to the 0.5 kind of level there. As Dogecoin is looking quite bullish and is capable of staying very, very tight and sideways during some scarier kind of sell signals. And so, say we consider the price of Bitcoin against US dollar tether on the Binance chart. We can kind of see a new perspective here. We see kind of lots of other things coming into play. We're coming out of this dip very nicely, and we're recovering from the big old sell-off, and there's plenty of traders taking profit when we got rejected from that 62k kind of level there, and now we do seem to be making kind of swift gains again, as we are still overall very bullish, and prices do not want to be falling anytime soon. And so I mean, that sell-off was definitely just like a sale for everybody, like a good like almost 20k kind of move downward from all-time highs. So we have this buy to super buy coming in again as we find support off of this Fibonacci line, which I will let kind of draw there. And so we came back. We came all the way down to this kind of buy zone around 48k, 49k, the zone that I kind of drew as we were coming down to it. We pulled up. I suspected this Fibonacci line to be a key pullback level. We came back to kind of just above it, roughly. And so that was a very strong bounce, very strong recovery. We're now interacting with my 57k kind of resistance there. And so, I mean, that was the next significant resistance that I believe could cause the next kind of pullback, short-term pullback, or the kind of mid-term pullback. And so, I mean, if we start closing above this kind of level there, then I suspect we can kind of continue upward and step upward, hopefully, rather than just kind of, shoot upward vertically. I'd rather, gradually kind of make our way upward, perhaps along this ascending trend line, rather than just, shoot upward right off the bat. Bitcoin is still going to be overall quite long-term bullish, and so, I mean, support found at those kind of levels, I guess, would be, more beneficial to us in the short term, I guess. And so that's what's going on with Bitcoin. There is still the hell kind of present, and there is still a sell for present. So there is still kind of like sideways price action to kind of watch out for potentially. Even though we do have the buy to and super buy coming in during sell for and hell, kind of to get in kind of early to some kind of moves. And so I mean, like I said, the overall bullishness of Bitcoin is overall abundant, and from technical aspect, we do seem to be needing some pullbacks, but from a fundamental aspect, yet again, we are quite bullish. And so, I mean, a rejection off of this kind of ascending trend line, perhaps if we were to, kind of get rejected off that and come back down under 57K, I do suspect we can definitely come back down to that 52K, kind of like, 50 Fibonacci level there around, that 51K, 52K level. And so, I mean, that would be even a still. That would even I don't know, the more sideways Bitcoin trades, the more bullish it can be long term for me, in my opinion. This price action here was very healthy and was more than enough to allow for us to kind of stay bullish even during these really aggressive pullbacks. We're setting these all-time highs at a more natural manner rather than just kind of plowing through resistance like it's not even there. FOMO zone all the way up there, 85K. Watch out. We're going to be interacting with the FOMO zone in the near future, I'm sure, in the next coming months here. I don't doubt we're going to see the six-figure Bitcoin in the kind of the near future this year, perhaps. And so, watch out for changes in momentum. Watch out for EngineeringRobo's buy and sell signals. Thank you for listening to my analysis. Check out all the social media down below. Try EngineeringRobo free with a link in the description. Subscribe here on YouTube, and tune in for the next one.